I think everyone is ready to start drinking. It's 11:06 a.m. in California. Augie, let's introduce our wonderful female winemakers.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Aloha from Hawaii. I am super excited to start this wonderful morning for all of us because we are celebrating all of us women. It's a very special day because we want everybody to know that all of us are working really hard to be mothers, businesswomen, friends, sisters, daughters, and so on. And of course, our industry and wine, drinking, it helps all of us to be, happier and more open to everyday challenges and struggles. So I am super excited because today we are all over the world celebrating wine and winemakers, which are women. And we chosen really special wines from South Africa. And we are going to also visit Portugal. And we are going to spend some time in northern Italy. So our selection of wines is really unique, very versatile. I believe that it's going to be really fun to connect with our winemakers and taste some wonderful wines. I wanted to say thank you for all of you to join us. We are going to do the presentation. I hope you are going to taste the wines you got. If you did not get the wine selection, it doesn't matter. You can open anything you like and drink with us and enjoy this morning. And we also are offering the wines for all of you to buy, which Elisa is going to have all the information. We have a little special for everybody to get the wine and enjoy. Hello, ladies. I want to welcome you to our little get together. Cheers to all of you. We really appreciate your hard work and we always really enjoy the wines. And it's really such a special day for all of us to kind of get together and chat about the wine as we are enjoying the no no learning about the wines. I'm sorry. I didn't have enough of Prosecco yet. So I want to introduce you to Salome from South Africa. Hello.
Hi, hi.
I am super excited to have everybody to learn and also taste your wonderful wines. Can you tell us where you are and tell us a little bit more about your vineyard, your philosophy, and also, of course, about your wine?
Yeah, so to be very specific, I'm in the cellar. It is harvest time. So we're based in South Africa, and the region that we are in is the Robertson Wine Valley area, which is part of the longest wine region in the world, combined with a few other pockets. And yeah, it's a fantastic valley to be located in. We're quite a warmer area from the rest of the Western Cape. We're a little bit inland, um, slightly higher altitudes, and we focus 99%, I would say, on red cultivars as well. But Chardonnay is the queen of the white wines that we also do great in this area. Yeah, so today I'm going to talk slightly about Carménère, a little bit of, not a little bit about my passion, it's a big passion. And it was really what we built our whole brand around. Yeah. So would you like me to get going into it? I thought we're doing Portugal first, just to be
Yes.
clear.
So I think honestly, because we are all very anxious to find the excuse to have a sip of wine. So how about all of us are going to taste a little of your wine? And as we are going to taste, what I would love to really know is a little bit more about the grape and also why did you choose to make this wine?
Okay, so if I could step back a little bit, back to 2012, my husband and I just fell in love with the valley, and we met a family that's fourth generation farmers in the area, the Smuts family, and we convinced them to add to their bigger portfolio, which is basically fruit and veg, to add a very small cellar. That was always my dream, to really make good quality wines, and above all, as well, with more niche cultivars. And at the time, Cabernet Franc was mainly what I was building my whole focus on. But then, yeah, we tasted Carménère for the first time in 2012. And you would think it's a cultivar that people know of, especially in Americas, obviously South America, but also North America. But for us in South Africa, Carmenere is so rare. And at the time, it was something I've never tasted before, never heard of before. And then I started to read up on the story, and I realized that there's no one else in South Africa at the time that have Carmenere. So yeah, I basically asked Savas. So if you look on our South African bottles, there's a small little seal on there, and that is called Savas certification. And it can track back to the specific vineyard it was picked in, the date it was picked in. It gives you all the details to the bottling process. So I basically phoned them and asked them, what do I have to do to bring in a new cultivar into South Africa? And that was the beginning of the journey. So at this point, we only have 8 hectares in total in the Western Cape in South Africa planted of Carmenere. And we've got about 1.9 hectares of the total 8 hectares planted. So in 2016, we've managed to make the first red Carmenere in South Africa. And we're only still 2 producers in South Africa doing a single Carmenere. So you can understand from our point of view of South Africa that it's a very rare cultivar, and it's very unique and different in that sense for our local South Africans. And then, sorry to say, I don't have any rosé on my shelf anymore. My rosé is busy fermenting in the tank. It is harvest season for us. So we're the only producer in South Africa also doing a Carmenere rosé, which is phenomenal, if I could say that myself. It's one of my most favorite cultivars to work with, Carmenere, definitely. Coming from Cabernet Franc, obviously Cab Franc was cloned with Gros Cabernet, and then they got Carmenere back in Bordeaux way back. You do have some similarities to Cabernet Franc, but boy, no one told us about the difficulties Carmenere really has in the vineyard. And maybe some of that stigma stick, and the reason why it didn't flourish in France, really. And they thought gone, lost forever, until they rediscovered it in 1994 in Chile. So for us in South Africa, it's extremely unique. I love working with the cultivar, and I see myself a little bit in the forefront of really bringing something new to our local wine industry, and also showcasing what Carmenere can do on South African soils. So what you can see there in the background, we've got this small little koppies, and it's basically on both sides of our farm. And that really plays an important role in our microclimate as well. So we've got a little bit more a warmer climate, which Carmenere obviously loves. If it's too cold, coastal areas as such, it would produce this pyrazines, which is more your greener flavors, which you obviously don't want in red wines. So yeah, having this slightly higher altitudes, warmer climate during the day, it just produces this beautiful intensity on red fruit, raspberry, cherry coming through in the wines. Yeah, and I really try to let the vine speak, let the soil speak, where it's planted. So I play a very subtle note on the wood types that I use and the barrels that I choose for the wine as well. So it's really a wine that I feel like, sorry.
No, it's okay. The whole evolution of Carménère is very interesting, because yeah, like you mentioned, Bordeaux kind of forgot about it. They were not interested anymore. And it could be because of the mutation of the grape itself, it didn't do as well. And moving up to Chile also, some, like you said, South Africa, some winemakers were excited to do it. What I wanted to say, what we love about your wine, especially, it has such an amazing structure and finesse at the same time, which is a wine which is very drinkable. And, coming from South Africa, which sometimes you have a lot of that very heavy, bold, and almost very masculine wines, which I find are very exciting. But I love your wine because it's so elegant, and it has so much finesse, and it has such a wonderful body. But I do want to ask you, because of course as women, we wanted to know, what would you recommend for all of us to enjoy that with? So I cook a lot and I love to entertain. So what do you normally do with that?
I would say lighter proteins, not overly tannic, not necessarily red meat. If you do duck, then that's sort of the way. But pork belly, I think
Okay.
that's something that a lot of people could relate to, is a pork belly with a nice jus with that, something a little bit more fruitier. But my absolute favorite is dark chocolate with the Carmenere, which is so simple.
Oh,
But I just like the balancing of, especially when Carmeneres age a little bit, that tends to go more to a chocolate mocha sort of flavor at the end of the palate. So
how
I like
long is the shelf life? How long would you keep that wine?
I would definitely go 7 years, 7 to 10 years on the way this specific wine is created. We also do a premium Cabernet, which is at the top of my shelf. That's only 3 barrels a year. That's new wood, so it's quite intense. And that's a wine you would like to keep maybe 15 to 20 years to
Oh, that's
really
wonderful.
see it.
Well, we really cannot wait to come and visit. We are
Yeah.
talking about creating a trip to come and visit South Africa. It's a far, far away for us, but hopefully one day. We do hope to, keep our relationship going and see your wines more and more. That premium on top of the shelf sounds amazing. So we would love to, share that with our clients. And of course, we would like to invite you to come and visit us. And as you know, I'm in Hawaii right now. A lot of my clients in Hawaii as well would love to have all of you come and visit and share your passion for the wine. And, it's such a magical industry. And I feel being able to, not only enjoy the glass of wine, good glass of wine, but also knowing the source of it and where it comes from and what the philosophy of the wine is. Can you tell us a little bit about the organic side of it and handmade? How do you cultivate the wine?
Yeah, so basically in the vineyard, we're not organic or biodynamic. Um, we would love to say we're more sustainable, and we pick everything by hand. So my absolute favorite part is to be in the vineyards, and I believe that good wine is made in the vines. So because we are so small, we're one of the smallest producers in the valley. If you know Robertson Valley, you'll know that it's quite big co-op sellers. So we're one of the few sellers that is so small, and we pick everything by hand. But by 10 in the morning, we're done. But the thing about picking by hand is you can also sort in the vineyards already. So we only pick the grapes that we really want, that is in good condition. And I think that's a good foundation to start on with. I always say I'm the type of winemaker that works with good grapes because I don't like to correct things later. And I think that's key. If you can really, I don't want to mask anything. It's really about good quality product, because we really work hard from June to prune, correct. So we go through all the summer canopy managements and make sure everything happens. So when it comes to harvest time, the key is to really choose your fruit well and to look after that as it comes into the cellar. So yes, in the cellar, as far as possible, I use organic products, additives where I can. But yeah, everything is so, I would say really hands-on in the cellar, sorting grapes then further on the table, especially on Carménère and Cab Franc. That's something you really have to sort out, those last little bit of green berries that's in between. And yeah, so from the get-go into wine, it always feels to me the big thing about winemaking is time and timing. It's the right timing. You do things, but you also need to allow the correct amount of time for processes to happen. And I'm privileged enough that I'm in such a setup where I can really allow that to happen to the winemaking process. Yes, and I hope it shows in the wines as well.
For sure it does. For sure it does. You know, I find some wines are so excellent, but they are so sterile, you know, and I find that you need the soil and the passion to reflect. I always say that every wine has a personality of the winemaker, because it does take on all that, you know, love and passion and so on. I would like to ask everybody to raise the glass, and I would like to thank you so much for joining us. And we do appreciate you. So cheers to you. Keep working hard, because we want to drink all your wine. And I have a confession to make for all of you, my wine lovers, delicious wine followers and friends. I actually make arrangements with everybody that we are going to start with Portugal, and then we are going to go to South Africa. And of course, Prosecco hit my brain, and I changed the program completely again. Sorry, guys, but I hope it doesn't matter to you. Ladies, I'm so sorry. I said something and then we did complete opposite. But that's a proof, you know, when you get excited about something, logic sometimes doesn't make, you know, any sense, and you have to go with the heart. So I would like to introduce my trio, beautiful holy trio from Portugal. And as you can see, you know, beauty and everything else comes all together. If you ladies can introduce yourselves to our wine lovers, because we are going to taste a beautiful and exciting grape, which is Alicante Bouschet. It has been our, you know, grape we absolutely love here in Vinera, and our clients were extremely excited to see it back on our list. So introduce yourselves and tell us what we are going to need to know about this dynamic trio.
Hello. So we are Quinta de Plansel. We are in Portugal. We are around 100 kilometers east from Lisbon, so quite easy to reach us. Portugal is a very small country. We only have 200 kilometers large and 550 kilometers long. So it's not a big country. We have around 10 million inhabitants here, but we are really important for the winemaking. In Portugal, you have a lot of native old varieties. Especially one is very famous. It's Touriga Nacional for the reds and Alvarinho for the whites. And they're getting more and more importance to the world because they are quite resistant. So this is what we are all looking for. We are not only a winery, we are wine nursery. So we are producing wine plants. We are working in selection work. So we do select new clones or new varieties, they are more resistant and for the sustainability for the future. And then we have a wine school, and then of course we have the winery. The winery was founded by myself in 1997, and as I think you can hear, I'm not really Portuguese. I'm native German. So the first person who discovered Portugal was my father. And this was in 1961. He decided to buy a boat and he wanted to go around the world with four friends. What happened? They got shipwrecked in front of Lisbon. They got stuck in Portugal and they fell in love in this beautiful country. And my family is a history from 400 years. So the crest you see in the middle of the bottle, that's our original crest from the family. It's 400 years old, but more than 200 years, my family is working in wine, but more in trading. So what was the beginning? We had a trading company in Germany. And as my father fell in love with Portugal, he always tried to buy Portuguese wines and introduce them to Germany. But at that time, the Portuguese quality was not very good. Nobody knew about the varieties. They had no clue that Portugal has got 340 native varieties. They didn't know that. They were all mixed up together in the north of Portugal, and nobody had a clue about it. So my father really struggled with the importation because he never could arrange good wines. So he decided to sell everything in Germany, and to go to Portugal. This was in 1975, after the revolution. You remember, all Portugal still had a revolution in 1975. So Portugal fell in democracy in 1976. And he started in that time to make the first project together with Germany for the selection of wine plants, because he always says Portugal is a region of the European grape varieties, of the original ones. And that is what he's looking for. And he discovers already in the first 10 years around 200 varieties, and he took 150 varieties to the south where we are living. And I chimed in because I was the only daughter. I still have a brother, but my brother never wanted to know nothing about wine. He hates wine. He drinks it sometimes, but normally he prefers the bank money work. So I was the person who really loves wine. I was trying to taste the wines all the time. Even when I was 14, I was always running after my father and looking at him. Please explain me something about wine. He always said me, no, Dorina, this is for man. This is not for woman. This is not a woman's job. And it was very difficult for me because he was already living in Portugal. I was living with my mom in Germany, and I was trying to work in a wine business. So I worked in some nurseries. I worked in vineyards. I made a lot of harvests. And I made the education at a winery, a very famous one in Germany, for 1.5 years. And then I went to the university in Geisenheim. When I entered the university in Geisenheim for winemaking, we have been 2 women and 99 men. This was a really interesting time for me, really interesting one. And then when I finished, I decided to follow my father. In 1993, I went to Portugal and decided to live here. Now I have 2 beautiful girls next to me. And this is something makes me even more strength, because when I started in 97 with the winery, it was the first winery built up by a woman. So it was impossible to work with men at that time in the south of Portugal. A lot of machos, very difficult. I had to fight against them. And when I started the first wine in 97, I started already with the idea to show the variety of Portugal, not to show plants, to make variety work. There was struggling again because nobody in Portugal wanted to have or to buy or to taste variety wines, mono-variety ones. They haven't been used to it. Portugal is known as a country of the blendings. So 5, 6, 7 different varieties, and this was normal. So what I had to do, I had to go to the export. And I was fighting myself in Germany, it's my native language, in Switzerland, and I started to build up in the first time 80% in export. And now 10 years ago, Portugal is changing. Portugal changed. Portugal is open. Portugal starts to understand that we have really important varieties. like to my father. My father, indeed, we don't have the book here, but we should show them next time. My father was writing now a book in English about the Portuguese varieties and how to even to food pairing and how to taste and to eat with it. Very nice book. I think Elisha has got the book already, but if not, I'm going to send you some of them. It's really nice for your clients. And they believe more and more in Portugal. And I by myself have 4 varieties I'm really in love with. I started with Touriga Nacional, Tinta Barroca, and Touriga Franca. I think you guys have got Touriga Franca in your program.
Correct.
It's a very deep and intensive variety. It's really fat and complex, a little bit more similar to Carménère. And the Alicante Bouschet, what we're going to taste today, it's, I would say, a new discovery. The first time we found Alicante Bouschet, it was in Alicante. For that, the name Alicante Bouschet, Alicante in Spain. But nobody liked the variety in Spain, so the variety went down to South France. In South France, they used it because it's a tinturero. It's very colored. It's very colored. So even if you open, so inside the pulpa, it's also black. So it makes very dark wines. So they use it in France just to give a little bit more color to the Pinot Noirs, but never made big wines. And then the wines came to Portugal, to the south of Portugal. It was around 15 years ago. And the moment they arrived to Portugal, the people understood that this is a variety they can fight against the heat and the lack of water, and with the heavy soils we have here, and makes fantastic and really intensive wines, but with a lot of fruitiness. So it was that Alicante Bouschet in the last 10 years, I see that from the nursery side, most of my colleagues, everybody planted Alicante Bouschet. It's going to be one of the most famous and important varieties nowadays in Portugal. But what is really interesting, my father did a genetic code control, and he found out that Alicante seems and it would really comes originally from Portugal. So sometimes we are losing materially because it's going around, so somebody's planting and then we lose it and we replant it. So it's a nice history about Alicante Bouschet. And here I would like to pass a word quickly to my daughter Louisa. She's the youngest one. She's a winemaker. Julia is fantastic. She's organizing the whole management in tourismus. She's the whole marketing. She's bank management, finance. So she is the person always hitting us, say, stop, no more money. So no stopping to spend
Somebody
money.
needs to do it.
Don't be spendthrifting. So that's enough. And Louisa is, as me, we love the wines. We love to go to the field. We love to see, to discover. And as my colleague said, time is the most important time at the vineyards. You have to go out every day. You have to look at the wine plants. You have to see when the leaves going inside, they're going to suffer. They're missing water. You have to taste them, to bite them, to get them in the mouth, to feel what is really time to pick them up. That is what we three, I think nowadays, I'm so happy that I have my daughters here, because when I started, I was so alone, and my husband also died 17 years ago.
Yes.
It was really difficult for me as a woman.
Yeah.
And now I have really 2 strong persons. And Louisa, just explain a little bit for the people what you are doing nowadays in the company, what you did.
You already explained almost everything.
But
yeah, I can just give again a short text about me. So I studied also winemaking in Geisenheim, like my mother, like my father, and also grandfather. Yeah, he also went for 1 semester to Geisenheim. And now I'm entering in the company since 1 year. And maybe you wanted me to talk because of Alicante Bouschet. The 3 of us, everyone has their own wine. It's the family state. And Alicante Bouschet was actually my favorite variety since the beginning. Now it's changing a little bit. I also love Tourigas, the Franca and the Nacional. But the Alicante Bouschet is really special just because first of this color. Second, of the aroma, you have the really dark fruits, which I really love. And then in the end, the dark chocolate. So it's a really nice combination. And yeah, it's still here in the winery, the Luisa Lindemann with Alicante Bouschet. And now we have the Plansel Alicante Bouschet, which is also really, really nice. So,
what I wanted to say, ladies, you know, it's really amazing because today, especially, we're celebrating women, and what you said with your dad not really believing that you can take his dynasty and carry on, and you know, you decided, no, I'm going to do it. But also, just a little note to that, that Women's Day started in Germany, as you know, in the 1900s. Women were very strongly, you know, present, and they wanted to make a stand and have a voice. But what is really charming about your story and what's so exciting to me is that you kind of carry on and you're supporting your daughters, and they are taking the torch a little bit and making this, you know, amazing statement in Portugal. When I was there, which is really exciting. And again, we are going to plan in 2026 to come and join you. But what I really loved about in Portugal, that it is this strong, you know, believe and stand for the grapes which originated in Portugal, and getting that to the world and standing next to wonderful French wines and, you know, Italian wines and German wines, to be able to say, yes, we are, you know, Portuguese, and our wines are as good as Spanish and so on, as we were talking about. So first of all, I would like all of you to raise the glass to our girls in Portugal, and I wanted to say, you know, thank you so much. Before I let you, you know, continue with everything else, I still would like to know, what do you love to cook and eat with Alicante Bouschet?
Julia, now, what is your preferred food with Alicante Bouschet?
For me, the Alicante Bouschet is really good with meat. I think meat is the best fit. The best fit, and some pasta too, and some pizzas. We were talking about that not long ago, and yeah, because it's of the full-bodied wine and the dark
tannins.
and the tannins, so I think it's really
nice acid structure too. Yeah,
I think it's really a good pairing with this wine with that food that I already said.
It's a modern wine. We try here to do, because in the Plansel line, you know, we have different wines. You also have our Touriga Franca. You see on the label from the Touriga Franca, it's divided in two. So this is a more aristocratic part. So it's a more, I would say, this is less production, only 6,000 kilos. Hand-picked, hand-fermented. Here in the middle range from the Alicante, there we have Alicante, we have a Viñas Novas with Touriga Nacional Trincadera. We try, this is a new varieties we found, and we think they're really interesting. We should show them to the world. But they are not still in the really high range. In the high range, we have just Touriga Nacional, Touriga Franca,
and our family estate.
Yes, that's right. But you did already a fantastic Alicante Bouschet. I remember that in some barrels in the extra part, just for explaining. So this is what we have in the range, and Plansel means planta seleccionada. So everything it's selected by ourselves. We know where the mother plant is, normally in the north, in the Douro Valley, because these are all varieties from the north, from Portugal. But just to understand what we mean with Plansel, this is so important for us. And when we discover, and the climatic changes are more and more coming. This year, just for you to know, we already have 800 milliliters of participation. This is not normal. 800. It's raining at cats and dogs. It's not normal. Normally we are used to heat 45 degrees, sometimes 50 degrees in summertime, very hot, no rain. It's changing. At the moment, we have much more humidity, moisture. So we are also going to have, again, different varieties. We already planted different whites in the south. We have new clones from Aragonese, the Tempranillo. So we always try to go to find a new path for the future. What do you think?
And I'm sure, you know, I'm sure this is also something which a lot of our clients do not realize, but not only that with the climate change, the mutation a little bit changing the grape, the quality of the fruit may change. You have the different, mildew coming in, which you probably didn't have many years ago. So you have a lot of different challenges with that. And what I have to say, because I just have been bringing this wine of yours quite a bit, and so Carménère as well. And what I really love is that excitement, when clients taste the wine and they really love it and they want to come back and they want to know the story and they want to know more about the grape. And I think this is for us on our side such an exciting time to be able to show this and share this hard work of yours with everybody else. So I wanted to again say thank you so much. It's such a pleasure, and I really truly am excited that in 2026 we are going to be able to take you with us, take my clients to you with me and share your passion and your wines and congratulations to all of you. And if you don't mind, really quickly, I'm going to talk a little bit about our last wine, because unfortunately our sweet winemaker from northern Italy, Sofia, couldn't join us today. But I will talk really quickly about our last wine for today. And we have, of course, our Amarone. And all of you know the wine. It's really, really fantastic. Amarone is such a special way of showing the region of northern Italy. Some of you had opportunity to come with me to visit the vineyard and to see the vines and the grapes and the philosophy of the wine. What I find about Amarone is very unusual because you have a lot of different qualities of blending the grapes and showing the grapes when they are dehydrated, they dry out. Mostly by law, they dry the grapes for 120 days. Our winemakers are going and extending a little bit more. They dehydrate the grapes for 150 days. So it takes a little bit more of the risk and more attention, I believe, to detail. He also is really exciting because our winemakers go to the extension of even choosing the trees they make their barrels from. So they are super, super detail oriented as well, and they want to show off the wine in the best possible way. Of course, Amarone is so different out of any other wines because you have a lot of that overripe fruit. You have a very condensed, taste, a lot of warmth in the wine, a specific wine we are talking about. And the most exciting thing about Amarone is that it really complements food very nicely. So as we're talking about, the Italian, northern Italy especially, you have a lot of wild boar, you have a lot of risottos, which they use Amarone instead of the chicken stock, and it tastes incredible. And Amarone is also, believe it or not, very feminine. So it has this quality of softness, earthiness, and then you have that bold fruit with a amazing, amazing finish. I know all of you love Amarone. All my clients really, we just had this incredible opportunity. Sophia visiting our clients, especially in Arizona. And it was such an amazing experience to be able to taste different Amarones and different quality, because obviously, as we know, quality is everything in wine. And my whole career in wine business for the last 27 years, it has been showing and teaching our clients to recognize the quality in wine, to recognize the benefit of drinking great wines, and supporting small producers, and getting that connection with the winemakers, because I think this is what is so special about our today technology, especially, that all of us can be together today, this morning, and sharing the wine and wine knowledge and wine passion with all of you from so far away. I know we're complaining about the technology a lot, but also we do enjoy the benefits of the wine. I wanted to also mention that all the wines are available, as you know. We want to make sure, all of us girls, that you all drinking it, and you're drinking it fast, so we can produce more, and we can get you more wine. So your job is to drink all of it. And we have a wonderful sampler pack prepared for all of you. If you have couple choices, you can buy it by the case, as I always recommend, because the wine, when it sells out, we don't have it anymore. And you have such a great selection for today, because we have a Alicante Bouschet, which is a great everyday wine. It's a wine which I personally, it's 9:40 a.m. in Hawaii, and I already had a couple glasses of it. So it's an easy wine to drink with your cereal in the morning. But also, it's a wine which I love to entertain with, because it's a specific wine which complements any taste. And then we have this beautiful South African representation, which, Carménère is such a wonderful wine for food, but I also, for a little bit more advanced wine lovers, I find this wine really drinkable as well. If you play cards and you hang out and you just want to nibble on little cheese and salami, and so the wine is very versatile as well. But definitely it extends, it's a little bit more masculine, and it's going to have a little bit more of the kind of dinner wine. And then the Amarone is such a special wine, and I absolutely love this wine to have with the special dinners, and the wine which you will complement with a little bit more complex meats and food. And like I mentioned, if you are a hunter, the game meat goes very well, and also the risottos and all the pastas and everything else. So we have a great selection for everybody. We also created the sampler pack, which you get to order. We have 4 bottles of each, and we are going to do our best to, again, organize some wonderful visit for all of you to come to South Africa and Portugal. And again, I don't know if you ladies wanted to add anything, but I wanted to tell everybody thank you so much. And we truly appreciate you, all of you girls, and I cannot wait to see you in person. Cheers.